Drummers I Like podcast, episode number 10. That's right, guys, 10. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Drummers I Like podcast. As you just heard, it's episode number 10, and we're freaking excited today. This is your host, Richard Ducat, coming from Los Angeles. I got my co-host on the other line, Kevin, coming in from Vero Beach. And if you listened to the show before, welcome back. If not, once again, this is Drummers I Like. This podcast is about drums and drums only. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just coming from this East Central Florida location, as always. Nice and quiet over here. We've been getting some rain, and
Sorry about that.
yeah. Well, it's been good because like for 4 weeks we didn't have any rain, so the grass started looking like it could catch fire
Oh,
at any moment. So
4 weeks bad. It's been like 3 years since California's got
yeah,
rain.
I guess you're right. I guess we got no room to talk, but it was
I'm
definitely
waiting.
drier than I've seen it in a
I'm
long
waiting.
time for us. You know what I mean? I can't vouch for anywhere else other than here. So
So
you know how it goes.
you're a Florida boy too when you enjoy those days. I like enjoy a nice gloomy rainy day. Sometimes I'm
Oh, I
one of
loved
those
it. I loved it.
ages, man, that
Shoot.
relax in the back,
Oh
kick
yeah.
back,
Yesterday I
take
came
care of
home
business.
from work and I took a nap and I took a nap amongst thunder and pouring rain and wind and it just lulled me right to sleep.
Yep, nice. It's very nice. Sometimes I got to turn the shower on to get that effect for my son. He'll fall asleep easier.
Oh hey, yeah, see that? Nice parenting. See that? Not
Oh,
only do you get drummers info here, but you get some parenting tips too.
parent like a boss. Hit me up. Yeah, man. So
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think we need to tell everybody what's going on with the show today. We've had this nice opening banter here with us, but I think they need to know that we've got Jovan Dawkins on the show today.
Oh man, we've been trying to put this one together since we started the podcast. So
You're
excited.
right. Actually, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been great to actually finally get it done and get it all scheduled right
Yep.
and have him on.
Yeah, man. And I met Jovan on Instagram probably 2 or 3 years ago. It was back when artists didn't have such a big following, or were just starting to understand how that platform works. So I had a really easy in. I just started commenting on his photos, messaging him up, and I sent him some messages, and we kind of had a dialogue going back for a few years. By the time I got out to LA, I felt comfortable enough to just say, "Hey, what's your number? Let's set up some lesson time." And he was glad to do it. He came over. We had an awesome hour lesson. Talked a lot about music. I learned a lot. He shows me a lot of stuff. He's a very smart guy. And I listened a lot to what he said, and that's going to be the goal here in today's show. And with episode number 10, we're trying a lot of new things out here at Drummers I Like podcast with the format, and we're excited to share it with you today. So, I don't want to babble on and give too much away. So, Kevin, if there's anything else you need to say, let's get in, and if not, I'm ready to get this show going.
The only thing I've got to say is definitely listen on to what we got to talk about with Jovan. So let's get it started.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Hey, everybody, we are so excited to bring you today's guest. His name's Jovan Dawkins. He's currently playing for Yamaha, Remo, Promark, Monster, GoPro, and his own cymbal company, Impact Cymbals. He's the producer for Jamie Foxx, Kevin McCall, Travis Barker. He even did the production for the score of The Amazing Spiderman 2. Along with acts such as Sir Mix-a-Lot, Jovan's played with many artists over the last 20 years, and today we're bringing him on the show to talk about his experiences and everything he's done doing that. How you doing today, Jovan?
Thank you, man. I'm so glad to be here. I also fried chicken too. They forgot to put that in the credits. I fried chicken.
Well, I'm a fried chicken. Advocate myself, so I don't know how to make it, but maybe you can send me some because I love eating it.
We can do that. I can FedEx it to you.
So you heard the intro, but I just can't say it enough. So what we normally do here at Drummers I Like is we ask that you kind of give us a little background story on who you are, how you got into drums, and how you got to where you are today.
Yes. Well, my name is Jovan Dawkins, and I started off playing drums in church. I grew up in Church of God in Christ. That's a jurisdiction. It's the biggest one actually, and so it's so much different type of music in one church service. So you're forced to learn a lot of different genres in one setting. It trained my ear. I grew up watching great musicians all around me, so that's always an advantage that that Church of God in Christ gives you. You know what I'm saying. So, and then also too, my mom was very smart, so she wanted me to make sure that I could read music. So she put me in band in school, so that way I can at least read music. She figured it would be boring to me, but actually I enjoyed learning. So actually, band for me was very fun. So, so that's where I learned how to read music down in Tacoma, Washington, and then I got into studio drumming. I started messing around with it when I was like, I want to say 13, maybe 12, 13. I started dibbling and dabbling. A guy by the name of Al from church I used to go to had a home studio in his house that was amazing, and it was like built for drums. It was beautiful. And so I actually got to kind of learn how to record drums the proper way through him. And then one of my uncles gave me my first opportunity to play professionally. And I went out and did some things with him. And then from there, I started to meet other musical directors and stuff like that. And they started getting familiar with the fat guy with curly hair. I was bigger back then. So I was the guy with curly hair that was young, that played drums, and different producers would call me in to do drum sampling. And drum sampling led to touring, and then musical directing, and then it kind of just took off from there. As far as the foundation of it, at least. So, and then what really like kind of moved things is when I had got a call to do some drum sampling work for a producer based out of the East Coast. He had worked with everybody, Busta Rhymes. I mean, you can think of anyone you can think of, he's done it. And so he called me in to do some drum samples for him. And so next thing you know, I was on tons of records just from him alone. And you know how the game works. You do what good by one person, and then that producer knows everybody else. So they're going to say, oh, man, who did your live drum tracks? Oh, this guy named Jovan down in the Northwest. So then, and then it kind of just starts circulating, on and on and on. So the advantage that I think I had that was a little different than some of my peers is that I got exposed to the session side at the same exact time as playing professionally live, which normally it's the other way around. You play live, you'll tour for, 10 years, and then you'll start getting real studio opportunities probably after that or somewhere in between there. But I got it at the same exact time, so it was a blessing for me. So, as far as getting foundation,
all comes down to sometimes to who you know, and like you say, you do something like that, and then it's just word of mouth, and there you go.
Explosion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was a very focused person, even as a kid. When all the kids was out buying Jordans and the hottest shoes, the hottest clothes, I was the guy that would take money that I would make from playing at church here and there, which it wasn't much, but that money and any money from my grandmother, or my mom, or whoever, I would buy gear. That's what I was doing, man. I was, I single mom, in the home. I was buying gear, mixing boards, whatever it is, whether it was production or drums, sticks, cymbals. That's what I was buying. That's what I was purchasing.
Everyone else is playing video games, and you're getting all the gear to record and play. Yeah,
exactly, man. So that's why when I started getting endorsed, I took my endorsements very seriously, because I'm like, dude, I had to pay for this stuff when I was young.
Yeah.
That's
the dream for any drummer, is to get that endorsement, and no one wants to pay for their stuff. It's too expensive.
Absolutely right. So I really had to deal with the grind for real. So
not only that, but I'm sure you can remember, but not only could you had to work really hard to be able to pay for those pieces of gear, but then sometimes, especially with boards or stuff like that, it was like it wasn't the top of the line. It was somebody's it was some gone through 3 people already. It was probably dinged up and gigged up. So you were doing some wiring and some circuitry work. So
Oh yeah, man. I absolutely. I remember a childhood friend of mine. His name was Lamar Reynolds. Shout out to Lamar. We were childhood friends. all through elementary, known each other since fourth grade, and he was more technical than I was. So I was more musical as far as the engineer. He was more the DJ slash, technician. He could take a whole computer apart and put it back together in the fourth grade.
Whoa.
Yeah, sure.
Like it was weird. But when you look at him, you be like, he looks like a football player. So like, how does the geek thing go with the But anyway, I was very inspired by him, just how technical he was, and he would just work with what he had. You know what I'm saying? And so that actually inspired me a lot. To see him do what he did. So, and it actually still helped me to this day. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's great. So from there, I mean, as you kind of broke into to both touring and recording, where did you go from there, kind of on your road to where you're at right now?
So the next step is that after I had did a good amount of traveling situations as being the drummer, being a producer, what I would do is I would do a lot of live arrangements. So for example, I'm just saying hypothetically, let's just take let's take Sir Mix-a-Lot, for example. So let's say I take Baby Got Back, the record, and let's say in my own private time, I'm going to go rearrange it differently and make it more show sounding, with hits and breaks and accents and stuff in it. And what I would do that on my spare time, even though I wasn't the musical director for certain gigs, certain artists and stuff. And then I would start playing that for music supervisors, and they would hear the arrangement like, I like that. So then that led to me getting musical director jobs. And so in the live world, that's like the next step up. So you're the musician, and then when you start getting MD jobs, that's a great look because you get paid so much more money. It comes with a bigger responsibility. And there's pros and cons to it. The pros is it's a lot more money, and you have more control of pretty much everything. But the con is that you control everything.
So you got to deal with everything.
Yeah,
You're the boss man.
Right. So my hardest thing, and this goes out to anyone that's a musical director now or you're looking to step into it. The hardest thing that I dealt with is firing musicians.
Always
It is, oh my goodness, it is such a stressful thing, because it's great to hire the musician because everybody's happy. Oh, Jovan called me today to put me on Britney Spears, or he called me to put me on whatever. I'm just using that as an example. And then they do certain things that make you look bad. So now you're like, okay, you're trying to sweep it under the rug. Like, okay, come on, dude, get your stuff together. Don't smoke in rehearsal. Don't do this. You can't sleep with.
Put your head down and do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do your job. Don't sleep with every background singer. I mean, you can't do it. So you go through all that mess, and then you have to fire someone, and then hearts get broken, and sometimes they don't like you after that.
People take things personally, and there's got to be. You also got to be able to separate that business and personal. It's like, hey, I don't want to have to do this, but I have to do what I have to do for the business. So
reputation management, man.
Right. Exactly. So that was kind of the next step on the live side was being a musical director. So now on the production side, this was the cool thing. So when I got into production, my number one goal is to produce for artists. And then my next goal was to get into film scoring. That was my next goal. So what I did is by me doing drum sampling, as me coming in and cutting records for producers and stuff, what I would do is, and I challenge every producer that's trying to come up to take my advice. Don't do what everybody else is doing right now. What I did is my drums was my platform. So that's what attracted the producers to me is my drumming, not production. They didn't know I produced at all at that time. I was really young. Sure. So what I did is that after I would build a relationship with the producers, different producers that I would work with and cut records, once I built that trust as a drummer, then I would find a way to bring up, I also produce as well. I would love your professional criticism to see what I can get better at and what do I need to fix and what do I need to, change in my work. every time I said that to somebody, they always said, "Oh man, play your stuff right now. Go ahead, man." Every single time I would say it,
the immediate platform to show off. Right.
Immediately, they would tell me to play it right then and there. And anyone that submits music and tries to get placements know that it is so hard to get any Grammy Award winning producer or executive producer to even push play on any of your stuff.
Right.
People would give their left kidney to do that.
And
So to be able to play your stuff in front of them to get their actual reactions. And I took all the advice and I would go back and just fine tune everything and start, doing that. And then through drums got me my first placement, records and stuff like that, and getting records on artists, so yeah, it was my platform and I utilized it. So, but see, nowadays what the kids are doing, or I should even say the adults are doing, is that they're taking the approach of, I got the hottest beats, man. I mean, I'm killing everybody. That, that's not going to get it.
No, you're right.
It's really not.
Especially when you're working with a producer and you're doing kind of the pop gigs like you're referring to. I mean, you're just part of the backup. You're supporting everything, and you can't be in the way. And there might be, depending on the act, there might be a time to shine, but when it's not, you definitely can't be overplaying.
Right. Funny. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but yeah, so that's one success story I can say to everyone, that drums, if it wasn't for drums, I wouldn't be in production today. That's for a fact.
Sure. And it's good for everyone to hear. It's all about utilizing your talents. If it's going to get you in the door to get to the next position that you want to get in, for Jovan's situation, he wanted to get into musical directing and producing, and he used his one talent to really get him all the way to the top. And that goes for every drummer out there. And also, to reiterate on that reoccurring theme that comes up on Drummers I Like podcasts, it's not about the chops. It's not about how fast you can play or how quick you are, what crazy lick you've got. It's all about being able to fit in with the music and be a part of the act, and not the solo drummer in the act.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, I can preach a whole seminar on the chopping aspect alone.
Sure.
Actually,
maybe we need to do that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, I actually have a DVD project that's coming out called Chops with Control Volume 1.
Oh, awesome!
Yes.
So
I saw that actually. You're working with quite a few guys, I think, on that, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah. You probably saw the behind the scenes clip of the first day. I'm gonna finish the rest up this year. But yeah, I got a lot of cool players involved in it. A lot of my peers and some of the people I grew up being, that are my heroes. So, but it's pretty much, I'm touching on the subject of, it's called Chops with Control because, obviously, the whole world wants to chop right now, and chops actually came from church. That's what it came from. It came from gospel music, and that's what I was raised in. So, so those of us that grew up in gospel, chops is kind of, we grew up in it, so it's kind of like, oh, it's whatever, kind of thing. It's there. But then it got introduced to the rest of the world to where everybody else wanted to do it, but then it got taken out of context. And so that's why I said we got to take the chops and put some control on it and show you how to use it, and there's placement value to it. And I tell you one thing: if you are chopping every phrase, you will not work on a major gig. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just want to recall our little sit down lesson a couple months back where you and me sat and played a kick on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and snares with that open hi-hat to sustain for one bar, that specific way of playing. And you know what? At first, I didn't quite understand how much it was going to benefit me, and to this day, I'm doing that every day when I play.
Oh wow!
And I feel like it just makes me tighter with certain things. And you know what? I've gotten a little bit more tasty around my hi-hats and where I open and close. So
that's good, man. Yeah. See, and Rich will tell you is that the whole concept of what I was trying to tell him is that you can do all these small phrases and transitions, but it sounds so big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus being all over the place and trying to play every paradiddle, every single stroke roll all into one, and this just sounds like a hot mess, So, and I had to get disciplined very early. I mean, trust me, I had my bad days. When I first started, I came straight out of church, so I was Chop City, just giving it to everybody. Who wants it? Who's next? You want to get chopped too? Let's go. But I'm so glad I got that out of my system at an early age, so that way it didn't affect me. When I started to realize that doing less and letting the music breathe and finding different ways to do a transition to add some color to the song, when I started to actually enjoy that, that's when things changed for me.
Yeah.
So let me explain a little bit more in detail what I mean by that. So there's a difference between uh, controlling your playing because you're trying to get the job. There's a difference between doing it for that reason. And the difference is that when you're doing it for that reason, your pocket is not going to be clean, big, or nice because you don't really want to do that. You're doing it to get a check. But when you get to a place where you want to hear this song a certain way, you don't want to hear it filled up every single bar, and you want the bass to do a certain thing, you want the guitar to do a certain thing, you want to hear the strings a certain way. When it's like that, then, you know, now you're enjoying it. So when you enjoy something, you can hear the difference in your playing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh,
You know,
I know
that's
exactly what you mean too.
yes,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I feel like we as a culture, as a drumming culture, we don't talk about that enough.
Oh, yeah.
Of enjoying the pocket. That doesn't mean everything you do is simple. I don't want no one to take me out of context. That doesn't mean everything you do is simple. It's just placement, where you put it, you know, how you do it. Because I'm going to use Usher gigs for example. Aaron played that gig for a long time, and his situation was on a lot of Usher records. They're everything is big and in your face, right?
Okay.
So, you know, like the Make Me Want a record. So if you listen to that song, Aaron has to play it very simplified, not really doing any extra movement, just lock the foundation down.
Sure.
But when it's time to do a big chop, it's really big and in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's towards the end though.
Yep.
You know, where it happens.
Climaxing.
You know right. So, but then some gigs, like a Pink gig or I would even say like a Lady Gaga gig, there's not a whole bunch of big stuff. It's a whole bunch of little stuff all throughout all the songs.
Yeah.
You know, phrases and stuff. So
Right.
you just have to kind of find your approach that works best for that artist. Every situation is different. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Any spot where you can find where it's not going to step on anything, where it would be just right, you know. And
exactly.
it's a good example of that. It's a really good example of that. You know, I was going to use another example for enjoying the pocket. I just did a blog that we put out this week on the late great Jeff Porcaro,
Yes,
and
yes.
and in it there's a link and a video for it's just the drums only track for Rosanna.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just listen to just the drums and just the drum beat, and you were kind of, you know, especially talking about using the hi hat, you know, it's like you can hear him. He'll When he goes out of a transition, he'll use the hi hat and he'll kind of diddle off the snare and then hit the cymbal. But when he hits a cymbal, it just gets this perfect wash, but it's not too loud, and it's like there's not a whole lot there, but it's so tasty, it's so right, perfect for the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's another great example of just that, appreciating the fact that, I mean, he's not doing anything crazy there. It's anything that probably a novice drummer could learn the move, but the way he does it and the feeling that he gives it, you know, it just makes it feel so nice. You know?
Right, right. Oh, absolutely, man. You know that's how you get the money right there, man. Enjoy when you enjoy the pocket. It is a beautiful feeling. It's like a I'm trying to describe it to some because I don't smoke or nothing, but
What's that have to do with it?
It's a high, you know, that you have. Like, have you ever? And this is a challenge to all the drummers listening. If you have never had an experience where you're playing with a band and you got your bass player, your lead guitar player, auxiliary keys, harmonica, whatever it is, and you're just playing a groove and the groove feels so good that you don't even want to move. You don't even want to do nothing else. You're like, if I even touch a tom, I feel like I'm going to ruin this vibe. You know, and you can always tell when the musician conversation is really strong, because anytime someone walks in a room or whatever, they feel it immediately. Heads is bobbing, everybody's making the stank face, everybody's smiling. It's just that vibe that you, and this is for all genres. This is country music. This is for everybody. If you've never experienced that, then it's impossible for you to understand enjoying the pocket, because you've never enjoyed it. It's never been there for you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, and sometimes, sometimes you might need to go play with better musicians. I'm not being harsh. I'm just being real. Maybe you need to go play with some guys across the city, or in a different city in your state, and go play with them and go practice and see how that feels. Or maybe you need to change something within your playing to enhance you and be like, okay, So, but that's my challenge to everybody. If you have not experienced that feeling where you're playing a groove to the point where you don't want to move, it feels that good. You need it. That's my challenge for you this weekend. Go get it, please. Figure it out.
Funny you bring that up. I spent the first 4 years of my life playing with pretty much the same group of musicians, and I didn't understand that feeling until I went to college and met people from pretty much all across the country that had some serious musical chops, culture, all that type of stuff, to where I was finally sitting in a room playing with these different artists, and I felt that feeling, that feeling of you can't touch anything, and you're so locked in your emotions that it's so much physical as it is mental. You're almost in a trance. It's like you said, you can't explain it unless you've felt it. You don't understand it unless you've been there.
Right, exactly. It's literally impossible. But yeah, man. So I, like I said, I can talk about on the pocket stuff all day long. I'm such an advocate for it. So
it's important. But bringing up one thing, you gave a good challenge out there to the listeners. But one thing that we've kind of been working on, and I would definitely want to bring up, and you're going to be the first guy to kind of as a guest here to be hearing about this. But I was on, I found a page basically on the Loop Loft. And it's just basically like a little game, and when you go to it, it asks you, can you keep perfect time? And it uses when you hit play to play the game, it uses either you have to press with the mouse or you have to press with the keyboard on the computer, and it sounds off a series of clicks, and then it takes the click away, and it sees how well that you can keep it going without a click. And then it grades you on a score of between 0 and 1,000. 1,000 being perfect.
Okay.
And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to put the link in our show notes here, so that way everybody can get to it. But we'll make sure you get the link as well. And we're going to ask everybody to do the test, and we're going to have to kind of run the honor system on this. But we're going to ask that you just do it one time.
Okay.
And then record your score for just the one time going through it. And we're going to keep tabs and see how everybody scores up, and it'll give our listeners a good chance to see how they break down against some of their favorite drummers. So
yeah,
I love that.
And Jovan, I just sent you a link through our Skype chat.
I see that. Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and take it now, we can do it live, man. It takes you 2 seconds, or 30 seconds, or something like that.
Okay. So I got the link. So how do I do it? I just click on it.
Click the link.
Okay.
And then it'll run you through it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Loop Loft. Okay. Oh, is it at the bottom? Got rhythm. Can you keep the rhythm when the beat drops out? Okay, turn up your volume and play the beginning. Okay. Oh, tap along. Okay.
You gotta tap your mouse.
Oh, oops.
Either that or hit the keyboard. Yeah, you can hit any key on the keyboard too and do it.
Okay. Oh, you said you can stop. Okay. What? Is that my score? 50 points?
No. That should just be like it's just showing the scale. I think down at the bottom, or look up at the top. I think it breaks it down. It should say you scored and have a number there.
893.
893 out of 1,000. That's pretty darn good.
Dang, I thought I did horrible. Shoot.
What'd you get, Kevin?
See? My first go was a 901.
Mine was 902. Mine was
Killed
9.
me.
Yeah. I got 902.
They're like,
See, and he got me. He got me by 1 point.
now I got to turn in my credentials. Now I failed.
That's
Well,
why we
it's
do.
not easy. It's not easy. It's not. It's tricky. If you're not hitting that keyboard key just right, it feels like there's a lag sometimes, and you're like, "Am I
And-
on it? Is this thing hitting in the where I think it's hitting?" So it's
And-
just a
yeah.
fun game. I thought it was pretty neat for us drummers out there to play with. So
And in your
This is
defense,
cool.
Jovan, you, me and Kevin got to do it with isolated audio. So you have
Oh.
2 people on a phone call plus different audio. So
we tried to be quiet for you.
yeah, we tried to be as quiet as possible.
so-
but
so
we're
what-
gonna go with that story. We're gonna roll with that.
What was that number? What was that number?
It was 893.
All right. So now we have it in the record.
Yeah, 893.
That's pretty. I mean, out of 1,000, and I mean, heck, if you get 1,000, you'd be like a machine. You know what I mean? You can't be like a machine.
You'd
It's
be
gonna have
Bernard Purdy.
no soul. Yeah.
Right. Probably the only I would imagine the only person that could get 1,000 has already passed away. He's already dead, which would be Ricky Lawson. He has the best timing in life.
Ricky Lawson.
Ricky Lawson. Richard, you better tell me that you know Ricky Lawson.
Do I know who Ricky frickin' Lawson is?
Ricky Lawson is the most success. We can do a whole show about Ricky Lawson. If
You
you
said,
want to.
yeah. Jovan gave me a nice educational lesson on him about a little bit back when we talked, and
Yeah.
good,
according
okay.
to Jovan, he is one of the most successful drummers, or the most successful drummer of all time. I know he collaborated with Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, tons of people, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he did Phil Collins? Didn't he play
Phil
drums? For a lot of
Collins.
Phil Collins stuff. Yeah.
Yep, he did. He did pretty much the biggest Phil Collins tours in his prime. Yeah, the thing about Ricky
Steely
is
Dan too, right?
Yeah, Steely Dan. Yep. Whitney Houston. I mean, he's here's the thing. This is the funny part. Now they have this argument about who's the most recorded drummer of all time. Now the argument is between Bernard Purdy, Jr., and Ricky. Sometimes they bring up Jeff's name, but it's mainly those 3. And so, but without starting an argument or whatever, out of all those people, Ricky has played on the biggest records out of all 3 of them. So if you like if you added up record sales and all that other stuff, that's what you could say, And as far as live stuff, I mean, he was Michael Jackson's drummer on the Bad Tour and the Dangerous Tour. Stevie Wonder, like you said, Steely Dan, Phil, Eric Clapton, Lionel Richie, yeah, I can't talk right now for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just, and the thing is, even from the financial standpoint, like Ricky was a millionaire from drums.
That's insane. That's
I'm not
insane.
I'm
Good
not
for him,
including
though.
his
Damn,
yeah, I'm
that's
not
crazy.
including his production stuff. I'm not even including that stuff. I'm talking about just as a drummer. He's a millionaire drummer, and so that's why when people say he's the most successful drummer of all time, they're basing it off of those criteria. That okay, he was a back-end drummer for everybody, and he made millions of dollars from doing that as a drummer, not a Travis Barker being with a Blink 182. That's totally different. That's not. Travis is not a back-end drummer for other people. He's part of an entity like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Chad is part of an entity of a band, so that's totally different.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So anyway, like I said, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, I know that Kevin had some more Loon and Lose bits that he wanted to go through today. Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin, you there? Oh, I think we lost him for a minute. That's okay. It's okay. So, just jumping back.
I'm right here.
Oh,
guys. Sorry.
Kevin, there you are. I'll cut it up in the production. So
I sent you.
I didn't even see it. I didn't even
sent
see
you
it.
a message.
I talked before I read. Yeah. So
Please place this on.
So yeah, we just came off the Ricky Lawson bit, and I was gonna have you come in and get into the isolate stuff.
Well, the impact symbols. We're going into.
No. From you had that second piece of news you wanted to go from the switch off your ears stuff.
You know what? I think we're doing good time wise. Why don't we slide into impact symbols so that way we can spend a good amount of time talking about that? Because I'm really interested to hear about that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
Okay.
so moving on, Jovan. Really, the focal point of today's conversation I really wanted to jump on was impact symbols.
Yes.
You've been
Yes.
talking to me about it for a little bit now, and some of the advancements you seem to be making are just going to change music, for the better. It's going to change the way drummers play, what they listen for, what they choose in their cymbal choices.
Right.
And I would just love for our listeners to get the full breakdown of impact symbols, what it's about, how they can get it, when they can expect to get it, and
Uh-huh.
what the next move is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk about it.
Sure.
So with impact, so now I'm a very technical person, sound wise at least, and so there was I've been endorsed in general for, man, I think, what, 15 years now. And the thing is that with all my companies, I always have an idea. I'm endorsed with Yamaha drums, Promark drumsticks. I actually, let me do my own shout out. You guys better go get the Jovan Dawkins signature Promark sticks. If you haven't gotten them, go get them at your local guitar center.
We'll get
Little
some
plug.
links. We'll get some links for everything for you too in the show notes.
Absolutely. Kickport and GoPro, Monster, a lot of great companies. But when it came to cymbals, I was sitting back one day talking to a buddy of mine, and there was all these cymbals ideas I had, and I almost gave them to the. I'm not gonna say their names, but there was a major company I was signed to for a while, and I almost gave them to them. And pretty much what that would have been is that would have been me doing a signature deal, similar to my drumsticks and other products I have, and um, I decided I might as well start my own company, and so I can get the benefits for myself. I have all these unique ideas that have never been done before. You know, so anyway, what I did, the first thing I started doing is I reached out to two of the guys that are cymbal manufacturers that I've been fans of for a very long time, and because I knew I couldn't just go to anybody to get these things produced, because I'm very technical with cymbals. I know the specs. I know I'm not just a random guy that says give me a nice cymbal. I really know the actual analytics of it. So
Yeah, were these guys they were just kind of like boutique, like cymbal craftsmen kind of guys that you knew?
I don't even want to say boutique, because these guys have worked with the Zildjians.
Oh, okay. They're
They
guys that were in that industry that were creating symbols for some of the
y-
companies we all know and love.
absolutely. One of the guys did tons and tons of work for Peisty and a whole bunch of other companies, and another guy started his own cymbal company way back, and also did OEM stuff for other people. So I knew I had to collaborate with these type of cymbal manufacturers, and not go to the because a lot of the other small companies, they tend to go through the same people. And I'm very picky about my stuff, so I'm like, I can't be having my designs being produced the same place everybody else is having their stuff done.
Sure.
So anyway, we worked that out. I spent about a year just on manufacturing, just to get it perfect, because I was, trying to do something that was different. So two of the series that I created, one of them is called the Mixed Hybrid, and the other one is called the Doc Hybrid, which is part of my last name. So these two series I put out to the public recently for a reason, to cause a frenzy, because it had never been done before. Of course, I have like regular dark series and the naturals, and I have all that stuff, but I wanted to put out the two lines that had never been created ever.
And
So
and those lines they're a hybrid, correct?
yes, so let me explain what the hybrid is. So now the Mixed Hybrid is a two-tone brilliant cymbal line.
Okay.
So when you think about cymbals for a second, let's think about all the hybrids you've ever seen in your life. You've seen the brilliant with traditional finish, which is the K Custom Hybrid.
Yeah, yep, exactly. The
Right.
different lathing you see right away, the brilliant lathing to the traditional lathing.
Yes, exactly. Then you have the dark with traditional. That's very common. Sabian does it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure if Zildjian has one like that, but Mino for sure does.
Oh
They
yeah.
have a lot of them actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
tons of them.
really a big. It seems like that's a real big thing. A lot of guys are going real dark on symbols. I mean, it's
Yes,
definitely something we're
yes.
seeing in the community.
That's very true. That's very in all genres too, which is
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was which was frowned upon about 12 years ago.
Yeah, right. That was all jazz, like jazz only kind of.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was So, um, but yeah, you see you've seen all these different combinations of dark with the traditional and brilliant with the traditional, and I've seen traditional with dark, but you've never seen a two-tone brilliant symbol though.
Okay.
It's actually never been done. It's actually never been done in history. So I've had meetings with a lot of the manufacturing gurus from the big companies, and we've had conversations. And they've all told me like, Jovan, like do you understand you're changing everything?
Yeah.
Like
So it's like two different lathings of brilliant.
yes,
Is the best way to explain it.
exactly.
It's like a slight variation, or like even if you did it with a traditional lathing, it's still all traditional, but it's slightly different, which gives it the hybrid.
Yeah, yeah, because so pretty much, so just take a regular brilliant symbol, a shiny
Huh?
symbol,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And then
Absolutely.
in the middle, it's a completely different brilliant lathering in the middle.
Okay, gotcha.
So that had never been. So Zildjian's been around for what, 200 and some years,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
They've never done it.
That's
And
pretty wild.
neither is any other company. So I had to prototype that thing. I still have the originals, but I prototyped that series alone for about 7 months, just to because you're playing with new materials that's different. So I did that, and it came, and I got the final. It came out like I almost wanted to cry like a little girl. I mean, they sound so amazing. And Rich, you actually haven't heard the finals. Because you heard the second to last prototype
Yep.
of some of my stuff.
Yep.
So
And those sounded amazing.
yeah, and now they're even better. So that's one, and then the other series is the Dark Hybrid, which is a two-tone traditional, which has never been done before.
Okay.
Once again.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. So I was all about setting the bar different, and and changing things, and going for it, and that's what I did. So but yeah, man, everything is going great. I have wonderful artists that are on my team. One of my artists, his name is Vajan. He goes by King Vay. He is the drummer for Future, Ti, French Montana,
Big
and
names.
Snoop Dogg.
Ooh.
He's the new Snoop Dogg drummer now.
That's awesome.
And so he's a great artist. He's out there playing the mixed hybrids right now. So if you guys see any Ti shows or Future, French Montana, Snoop, that's my artist playing the mixed hybrids.
Hey, yeah, plug us up with him. We'll go out and get some footage for you if you want. If you want to get some live footage of those cymbals in action, we
Absolutely.
got the gear.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gear,
He's in LA right now. I don't know who he's in rehearsal with, but I'll call him and check with him.
Yeah, we'll chat after this.
And connect them, yeah. And then I also have Kevin Kelly, great drummer. He used to be the drummer for the Temptations. He's also partnered with me as well with in the company. And then of course I have the legend Jonathan Moffett, drummer for Michael Jackson for 32 years, Madonna, Cameo. He is one of my legendary featured artists.
Wow.
We're actually getting his. Actually, I guess this is the first time it's ever been spoken about because we haven't even put out the ad yet. It's going to be a Modern Drummer magazine, a drum magazine of his announcement and everything. But yeah, man, I have great artists that are playing the material and getting them out there, and now we're getting ready to get everything prepared for NAMM this year. It's time to do the launch, and
oh yes.
I already have the great relationship with Guitar Center and Sam Mash, so I don't have to. The blessing is I don't have to go through the tussles that the other small cymbal companies have to go through. Because because those guys can't even. Their dream is to get with the major vendors, and it's hard, but it's different when the owner of the company's in the industry already. It changes things so.
Well, you're in the industry and you're a drummer, so I mean,
yes,
you know what I mean.
That kind of points back to your original point too, Jovan. You used the original platform to get you to the next level, now to put you in this position where you create a product and you don't have to go, like you said, through all these loopholes. You're right in with Guitar Center and Sam Ash. Boom.
Exactly.
Competing with the big dogs.
Exactly. Getting right in there, and so it's like I said, it's a huge blessing, and I'm excited. You guys can go follow us on Instagram, impact_cymbals.
Awesome. Show notes for sure.
Yeah, all these links will be in the notes. Anything you got will be in there too. But definitely mention them here, on the air for our listeners.
Let us know.
Perfect. And we are taking orders. So yes, you can order. I actually just opened up the door for orders 3 days ago, and my phone has been blowing up every single day, all day, ever since the videos went out. So
Good problem to have, right? Good problem to
yeah,
have.
absolutely, man. So I'm very excited about it. Very.
Now, right now, is everything direct right through you guys, or do you have a dealer network that's kind of already started with this as well?
Everything is direct right now after NAM. Because the thing is, we got to get the your inventory got to be stacked up kind of nice. Just because I'm going from direct straight to the NBA. So
yeah, no, absolutely, and
so
it's all still getting off the ground. So
yeah, so yes, after the end of February is when you will see my dealers. So you'll see, you'll be able to get it directly from your dealers, whether it's in the store or whether you go in there and you special order it.
Sure.
Awesome. We'll make sure to keep everyone posted too going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, but people can buy direct right now. Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome. We'll put some links in the. Once again, we'll have the show notes ready to go for you guys, so you can get those symbols now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, just from what I've seen, like I said, through some of the social media that you guys have out there, they look beautiful, and
thank you.
They sound great.
They sound great. I mean, a lot of times I'm listening through a phone, which is the absolute probably worst audio option, really.
Yeah.
But they still sound good through a phone speaker. So
and I'm so glad you said that, because that was the whole motive behind me doing that. Yeah. That was the motive. Because actually, I'm getting the sound bites and all that stuff done right now, but I wanted to release these because I knew if people would love these symbols through the worst speaker you could possibly have on your phone.
Right.
And you'd be like, these symbols sound that good through a phone? I'm like, they know in the studio and live it's going to be out of this world, but of course, just for professionalism reasons, yes, I'm putting out the professional sound bites with the visuals and all that stuff too. So
yeah, it's important, and it's important to try and hear them on the best audio that you can. A lot of times,
yeah,
it's hard to it's still hard to judge on that when you really get to hear all those frequencies and all that hidden stuff. I mean, but really, you need to be able to see that and hear that. I should say in person. That's really where you're going to hear the symbol. But it's still. I mean, I could just remember, before anybody had any sound bites. I know everybody here talking right now can remember. When it was like the only way to hear it was if you were going to go down there and whack it, and I'd be like, all right, well, I this is the one, and you walk out of the store with it. But now you can even go to any of the big manufacturer sites and listen to sound clips. But nothing beats the real thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah.
But kind of switching gears there. I mean, we're on episode number 10 now for all our listeners, so we finally hit the double digits, and
the Big 10.
That's right. It's great. Good to have Jovan on with us, and kind of doing some format stuff that's a little different for the show, trying to improve it a little bit and move things along. So, Richard, I don't know. I think it might be time for the rapid singles.
The rapid singles.
Oh, let's do it.
Yes. All right, guys. Just to break it down for you, rapid singles are here to create a little value for you guys. We put together a 6-question list that we're going to start asking all of our guests, and creating some awesome answers that we think are going to help you progress in life and as drummers. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start rapid singles. You ready, Jovan?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. What was holding you back from becoming a successful drummer?
Listening. Being a very, very good listener. And what I mean by that is listening to criticism, because when you're young and you're considered as a protege, or however you want to think, at times your mind can get clouded for a minute, and and you're not being a good listener. So when I started becoming the guy that would ask a lot of questions and would listen and apply it, that's when things really would change for me. Even playing, getting on the kit, and instead of just playing a lot of notes, listening to what's really going on and feel your way through.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, amazing answer, especially
on so many different levels.
Yeah. I can't point one out. It's all amazing. So let's go into question number 2. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, can I name like 2 or 3?
Go ahead. Shoot from the hip. Do it.
Oh, okay, so
you're the first one, so you can make the rules, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Good, I'm the first. I like that. Okay, so
beta test.
I would say Okay, so one of them was given by because Ricky Lawson was my mentor before he passed away. Ricky told me in the studio because I asked him for some advice on some things, and he told me many years ago. He said if you cannot sit and play a groove, just a groove, not doing anything. If you cannot play a groove for, I want to say he said, did he say 10 minutes? I think he said 10 minutes. I believe 10 or 15 minutes. If you cannot play a groove straight without getting the urge to want to move around the kit, like meaning do a whole like solo is what he was saying. Is what he meant.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I know
You're
exactly
not
what you mean.
you're not ready.
You know, just to kind of put an example on that, I've a friend of mine who he's, you know, kind of a novice drummer. He did some training when he was in school, but you know, he never really pursued it and really, you know, had determination to really channel it. But sometimes he'll come over my place and sit on the V kit, and as he's playing, you know, he'll be just trying to put a bunch of notes everywhere, you know, and do some stuff, and I'll say, hey man, just play like a, you know, 1 and 3 on the bass, 2 and 4 on the snares, eighth notes on the hi hat, and just play it and don't do anything. And he can't go 3 measures without trying to put ghost notes in,
Yeah,
or you know what I mean. And that is a great point because it's important.
it is, and it changed the way my brain thought. I was like, wow, can I do it?
You must
You
be
know,
strong.
Yeah, right.
and
I
listen,
know, right?
right, and let me be a little bit more detailed. He didn't just say, uh, um, if you can't play it for 10 minutes and not move. He said if you can't even play for 10 minutes and feel like you want to,
Yeah, you got to
that's a
sell it. Yeah,
like
you can't
like
just be
really,
sitting there like bored, like yeah, I'm still playing it. I'm still playing it. You know.
right, yeah.
Right.
So drummers really think about what's being said here. It's challenging you in your inner mind.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you're like, oh my goodness, I have to be able to play for 10 minutes the same groove and not even want to move.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so
Right.
that was one of the best pieces of advice I got. Um, Another piece of advice I got was I would say, you know what? Actually, I have a couple, but I'm just going to say one more. There
Okay.
was this guy that came up to me after I played. I was a kid, and
Like I
this,
mean, not to, but like how old if you just had to put a stamp on it? Would you say?
12, I think,
Okay. Okay. All right. There we
something
go.
like that. Maybe 13, maybe.
Okay.
And at this time, I was getting all this hype as a kid. You know, when you know that protege thing. So, you know, when you're playing around town and stuff, you know, it's easy to buy. I was never a cocky person. I was always humble. But your mind can get to a place of wow, everybody thinks I play good. Wow, this is great. You get into that, and then one guy and everybody after church and stuff would always give me all this props. Oh my goodness, even guest people that would come in like, oh, he's amazing, blah blah blah. But this one guy that came up to me, and he was a member of the church, and he would never buy into my hype ever.
Sure.
Not one time. Not one time did he say, "Man, he's a great drummer." He didn't say none of that stuff. This dude came up to me one day after I played, and he said, "Come here." He says, "Brother, that is the first time I have heard you play and be so tasteful." He says, "Your pocket was so impeccable. I have." He says, "When you normally play, you was just all over the place." But he says everything you did was so structured. That's what I'm talking about. And I took that and he wasn't even a drummer.
Yeah.
I took that for gold, and it changed my whole way of thinking as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'll say those two.
That's great.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
great.
I think those are two great, wonderful pieces of advice. So moving on to the third question, what's a personal habit that contributes to your success? And not listening. You can't say listening. We know you're good at that.
Give me the question one more time.
What's a personal habit that contributes to your success?
Like something you do every day. Something you do every day that you feel like that it helps you either have helps you have become. Oh wow! If I could speak the English language, I'd get that out right. To become, to become successful or to stay successful. What's something you do every day that helps you with that?
um, every day, I would say, I don't want to say work hard because that's so cliche. I'm trying to use a better word for it. Um, Not follow through. What's the word? Execute. There we go. I have a sense of execution. So if I'm doing something, every instead of lollygagging about certain things, I will literally put execution to every single thing that I'm doing. So if I'm supposed to get these stems prepared for this live show, I'm going to execute that full blown and put all my focus and energy into that. And that may sound simple, but when you think about it, a lot of us don't do that.
No, no.
You
I
know,
mean,
we,
a
we
lot of us always say we want to be better drummers, but we can't make, you know, 3 hours out of our week to,
Yeah, yep.
work on rudiments.
We
So,
all and you know what? Another word, a good word here is it's procrastinate. You don't
yeah.
procrastinate. You
yes,
follow through always. There's no procrastination.
If you got a goal, you follow through on your goal until you feel like you've got to where that goal is.
exactly
It's that
right.
easy.
Because I've surpassed some people that are 10 times more talented than me and have done it longer than me, all because I execute and they talk about it a lot.
Yeah, and that
So
makes a lot of sense. You see that a lot, and it's kind of a term that I hear a lot in the world of entrepreneurs is that there's thinkers and there's doers.
yes,
Thinkers can sit around and come up with the greatest ideas, but doers will execute. They will not procrastinate, and they will meet their goals always.
exactly. And
Always.
that is to sum me up. That's what I am. I've been known as being, even in other business outside of drums and music, even in, because I have investments into other things and stuff, and I execute those things like that, and I take that same approach. So
That's awesome. So, so for the next question, can you share a resource or a tool that helps you survive as a drummer? So it be a specific kind of in-ears you use, or a metronome, or some tool that helps you survive when you're playing your gigs, when you're teaching, anything on that platform.
yeah, a tool that I would use, I would say,
A
you know what?
resource too. So I mean, it almost it could go into a few different categories, but yeah,
Yeah.
resource or tool.
So one thing that I like to do, I'll name two things. So one thing that I like to do is I like to create a click track, like in Logic, or some of you guys may be Pro Tools people, but I like to create in Logic, and I will create a click track. And what I would do is I will put it in 4/4, but I will play that thing in like 7 different time signatures.
Okay.
And my goal is to try to make it flow with each other if I can.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
So
transition.
you'll set it up to the track you set up will go from from 4/4 into the next, and it just does it. And you just got to kind of keep it going and make it feel good.
Yeah, well, actually, the click track is always going to be in 4/4. I'm the
Oh,
one
okay.
that's changing.
Okay, gotcha.
So it makes it hard. So now I have to really focus on what I'm really doing, because that click track ain't gonna move. It's quantized. It's not gonna change
Right.
timing. It's not gonna flip time signatures for me.
It just stays on 4/4 and clicks right on through, and you're the one that's changing how you're counting the beat.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
so I try to make it flow. And what that does is that makes you approach your chops differently. It makes you approach your phrasing differently. It even makes it to where you can handle it, actually prepares your mind to be able to handle a lot of, if you're playing with a really big band with a horn section and stuff that's doing a lot of stuff, your timing won't move. The way you approach certain fields won't move because you play in different time signatures in one setting.
Sure.
I see.
Hey,
Yeah.
this is valuable information, listeners. So
Yeah,
make sure you're
yeah.
writing this down or typing it out or whatever, because this is for real.
This is great.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one. Another one, I haven't done this in a while, but it's still a tool. Is is set your metrodome to 30.
Oh, that's fun. I've done that
Right.
before.
Yeah, 30, maybe even 40. Maybe 30 might hurt you a little bit, but
It's tough.
play in 30 or 40 BPMs, and and what that
With a
does
pulse on the
is
quarter note.
right. And what that does is that makes your timing so impeccable, because people talk about how it's hard to play stuff fast. No, it's hard to play stuff slow.
Sir.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
know,
Totally agreed.
so
Being that guy.
yeah, so drummers play that same, favorite groove of yours that from the Yellow Jackets or whatever you listen to, Snarky Puppy, play it in 30 or 40. Do that same lick. Here's the biggest challenge, because a lot of the chops are fast, right? Do that same chop in 30 or 40 and don't miss the pulse at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When
I just love how you just referenced the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
They keep coming up in topic either between our team or on this show. So it's funny you mention it.
Wow.
So just I like that. That was good.
Absolutely, Ricky Lawson, the founder of Yellow Jackets.
See that?
Yeah.
See that?
Those are seriously two great resources. Thank you for sharing those with us. And to move on to the next tool, if you could recommend one book or one training series or one piece of reading or training material for a drummer, what would it be and why?
Does it have to be a book?
No.
Okay.
Video lesson, anything you want.
An exercise.
Exercise, whatever.
You know what? I would say Dave Weckel's. What DVD was that? Man, come on.
Are we going back to like big hair Dave Weckl?
Big hair shag with the curl at the bottom. Dave. Man. What was it?
Like big power Tom looking Tom Toms on his kit.
It was the most famous DVD he did. I'm trying to. Here, I'm looking for it right now. Hold on, Dave Weckl. I'm gonna find you.
Doesn't help the guy's got so much material out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Back to the basics. Back to the basics.
Oh yeah, okay, all right,
Yeah,
I got you.
You do.
I love that cover. I love that cover.
So many of us, so many drummers that I grew up with, we'll go right back to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That stuff's timeless. It's timeless.
It's timeless. I would say that because Dave really changed the way teaching goes, because all the way down to how he teaches you how to sit, and the thing is, he's not saying his way is the only way. He's saying this is how, because everybody wants to know, how do you flow like that? How does your hands and your feet, you don't look tired. You don't look like everything is you know what I'm saying? So every technique that you could possibly think of, for the most part, you will find in that one DVD, and it's selling for $17, $18. Sorry.
$18. Anybody can afford that. That's good knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes. Back to the basics, Dave.
That taught me how to hold sticks correctly. I wouldn't know how to hold sticks if Dave wasn't for that video.
Really? I got a quick stick story about Dave. So me being the biggest Dave Weckl fan, and then we became cool, as I got older and stuff. And Dave had changed my stick posture, because I wanted to know. I'm like, dude, how are you just flowing like that? And this is verbatim what Dave told me. He said, Jay, I'm almost, at this time, he's like, I'm almost 50. So this is back in 2011 or 12. And he says, I'm almost 50. I ain't got time to be tired on the road. So he actually changed his technique from what he used to do.
Yeah.
So he showed me, I know you guys, I can't show you, but he showed me a technique of how to hold your sticks, and it was difficult because the sticks were falling out of my hands for like the first 2 months, it seemed like. But once you get it down, it's like, I get why you don't get tired anymore. Right, it's just a flow. So, but yeah, back to the basics. 110.
So that's the one. That's
awesome.
The resource that he recommends. Back to the basics.
Because it'll never get old. It'll never get old.
That's right. So now we've got our drum roll question here, Richard.
Oh, this is the good one. This is a really good one. So,
okay.
For the final question, imagine you woke up tomorrow in a world exactly like ours. You still have all the same knowledge, all the same talent you have as a drummer, but you don't know anybody. You've got no resources or connections within the industry. All you have is $500, a smartphone, and a small portable drum set. What would you do first?
Okay. First or period? Because I only got $500, right?
So period, yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I would get a one-way ticket to Los Angeles. And then you said I have a portable drum set. How big is it?
Like a club kit. Let's say something like a club kit or something. Just something enough to where you can pull that thing around with you reasonably and still get some kind of gigability out of it. So let's just call it a hi-hat, a kick, and a snare.
Yeah, some of those travel kits like that.
Some of those little travel kits you see.
Yeah.
Okay, am I homeless? Do I have a place to stay right now?
No, I think when we started this, it was you had a room and board.
Yeah, you do have room and board.
A small drum set, and
this is beta, everybody. So we're testing this.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So yes, your room and board is covered. Let's just say that your room and board is covered.
You're not worried about housing or anything like that.
Nope. All you got to worry about is how to progress yourself in the industry. And with that $500,
Let's say
smartphone
you
and drum
are
set.
in your case too. You are in Los Angeles, and that's your setting too.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, I got a place to stay. All right, that makes it nice.
You got $500 in your pocket. You got your smartphone.
That $500 isn't even going to get you a single bedroom in a guest house in LA.
Sure isn't. So you know what? Same knowledge, no connections. You know what? The first thing that I would do is I would actually start going to the mega churches and the nightclubs. Just to network. You know what I'm saying? Because going to the mega churches, you meet the musical directors and stuff, and meet the musicians, and kind of just see the flow of how everybody's playing, what they're doing. Start networking. Starting offering to play for maybe a service or two. Here and there for free. Not charging nothing. Just playing. Another thing that I would do too is that I would hang out at center staging because everybody is there. So I would find a way to be in the lobby, during rehearsals and things like that. And another thing that I would do is I would, out of that money, I would go get me a camera. And I would start. I mean, we're in a social media age now. We didn't.
Well, pause. Let me pause you real quick because that smartphone you have, that can be any phone you want. So it could be an iPhone 6 Plus. You got 4K. You got 4K right there.
Oh, well, never mind. I'll do my own videos on the phone then. You're right. Okay. So I would record videos with my phone, start getting it on YouTube, and I would do remix covers all the time. I would take all the hottest records and I would totally flip them completely. Well, actually, that's where the 500 would go. I'll go get me a used Mac. That's what I would go do. Give me a used MacBook Pro. So that way I can also edit the video as well as upload all my stuff and have Logic and and all that. And yeah, I would cut tons of remixes, live arrangements, so that way people can hear how I arrange and how I play them. Tag Jay-Z and everybody mama in it, so that way I always pop up. Here I am,
Yep.
And I would circulate that way because now it is so much. It's easier. It's not easy, but it's easier than when I started per se because YouTube didn't exist yet. So
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that just shows you. I mean, basically what we're taking from that long question is you're going to put a premium on networking as much as you can in the places where you want to ultimately be getting your jobs and getting your name out there with, and to just be putting your name out there as much as possible through all the social media and internet channels.
Absolutely.
We see a lot of guys do it, but there's plenty of guys out there that don't. So there's an importance to that. So
absolutely.
So drummers, take note because he just gave you the keys to the castle,
info.
Guys. Gave you the keys to the castle. So
absolutely.
If you're wondering how do I get in, take some advice from Jovan here. It's not as hard as you think.
Immerse yourself in that environment. That's what you got to do.
You want to listen,
eat, sleep, and breathe it.
Yep. You want to listen and execute. Remember, listen and execute.
Absolutely.
So I think that brings us here towards the closing end of our show, and I think it's been a great show. I think Jovan, you provided us with a ton of value bombs here. It's been great to really learn about impact, and now that everybody knows, we're going to be pointing all our users in direction to go ahead and blow you up to put some orders in. So,
thank you, appreciate it.
Expect more of those phones ringing off the hook, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and I gotta make sure I get you guys taken care of too. Yeah, because you guys will love what these are. Because I know Rich, you like I said, you didn't get the final.
Yeah, we would love to. It would be great. Let's get together. Let's test these things out. Let's put some videos together so we can show people what it sounds like. We'd love to do it. We'd love to collaborate.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
And right now, I'd like to open up this space for you to tell our users how they can find you and the best ways to get in touch with you personally.
Yes. So on Instagram, I'm Jovan_drum_producer. And then on Facebook, you can just type in Jovan Dawkins, or you can just Google me to make it even easier. Just type in Jovan and then Dawkins. And then, all my stuff will pop up of how to, get a hold of me and things like that. And then of course you can also follow Impact Symbols, impact_symbols, and that's on Instagram, and on Facebook it's just Impact Symbols. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome, awesome, Jovan. Everybody, remember to go check all that out and get that impact order in. Get that impact order in because those symbols are going to be taking over. Be taking over. Check it out, and we'll have some awesome videos out soon for that. Jovan, I want to thank you again. This has been an awesome educational conversation that, I'm walking away a smarter man. I know Kevin is, and our users will too.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much. First of all, I love this podcast. This is a great idea.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are innovating things, so this is wonderful.
We appreciate it, and we're just happy to have innovative artists like yourself, and people who actually make a difference in this industry, wanting to come on and be a part of this. It's truly honorable. We're just so happy for it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, you guys have a great day.
You have a great time.
You do the same, Jovan.
We'll be in touch, my friend. Thank you.
Yep, we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. All right.
Bye-bye.
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 Whoa. Well, there you have it, guys. That was our interview with Jovan Dawkins. And I think that went pretty freaking crazy. Pretty well. Amazing. Words don't explain how much I've walked away with. My notebook here is filled to the brim. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it was so good that, you completely lost your train of thought coming out of that. I mean, you couldn't even speak English. That's how you just got so much knowledge dropped on you that you're having trouble speaking. So that's a good thing. Yeah, there was some great stuff in there. And, he's such a good guy. Great conversation. Jovan, we couldn't thank him enough for coming on again. Talking about the symbols. Just everything. We went into so much. Talking about his mentor, Ricky Lawson, which is really cool. One thing I didn't have a chance to mention on the show with him, but I can remember seeing Ricky Lawson had a set of drums that had this intricate birds of paradise, kind of like parrots and parakeets and all this in these tree settings painted all over his drums and stuff that really stood out. Just neat stuff. He got into some really cool stuff.
Absolutely.
The lightning round was a lot of fun.
Crazy.
It was a lot of fun to hear, like we said in there, drop some knowledge bombs for us drummers and
take notes if you didn't already. Go back, man. Those are great.
Yeah, definitely go over those things and just like we always say, definitely keep in touch with what we're doing on the website. We've got blogs coming out. We've got a blog up there for Picaro. We're gonna have some posts here soon. They're asking to see your halftime shuffles and just keep paying attention to what Drummers I Like is shelling out, because you guys are gonna be happy when you see it.
Absolutely. And you heard Kevin. You know where to find us. It's Drummers I Like on Instagram, and Drummers I Like on Facebook. Of course, find us on YouTube by searching the same thing, and then the holy grail is drummersilike.net. So get on over there for all the latest updates on podcasts and kind of what we're doing. We're making a lot of changes over here, and we're excited for the future. Got a great team. Things are going better than we could have even imagined. And you know what I totally forgot to almost mention here is that me and one of our newest members, Zach, got to spend the day at Warp Tour on Sunday in Pomona.
Yeah,
and
we didn't even talk about that.
Didn't even get to bring that up, man. So before we let you guys go.
Too much going on.
Too much going on, man. It's a good thing, though. Too much is amazing. We spent the day out there. We got to hang out with Sam Applebaum of Vale Maya. We got to spend some time with Steve Carey, our buddy from the Color Morale. And if you thought the podcast was good, man, hanging out with him in person, Kevin, I'm sorry you missed him because he is just a wonderful person.
That's all right. I'm going to get out there when he's back on tour, when he's over here on the East Coast. You can guarantee I'll be looking for those dates. So
let me and I'm sorry, users, for the language term here, but he is a fucking conversation machine, and talking to him is just so much fun. He's just a good guy. Great day though. We actually got to hang out with the drummer from Gideon too. We put some videos up on Instagram if you checked him out. We're also cutting some good videos of him too. He was amazing. I never heard of him before. Zach actually plugged him to me, and we'll be popping some information. Hopefully bringing him on the podcast soon too. So, you got it all. I don't think there's anything we missed. Do you, Kevin?
No, I don't think so, man. I just just to reiterate, go stop by, subscribe to this podcast,
review it,
and review it. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know on there who you want to hear from. Give us the star rating that you think we deserve.
We want to know.
Give
if we
us
suck.
Your feedback. Yeah, either way, we got to know. So please tell us.
Please, and anything you guys want to hear. You got interest in drummers. There's people you want to hear. Let us know. We're not the We're not the podcast that's going to turn you down because you haven't been gigging for 30 years or playing with a bunch of professional artists. If you're a good drummer and you got great knowledge to share, we want you to come on the podcast. We want to hear about it. We want to hear how you're changing and innovating. Because once again, just because you're not a big name doesn't mean that you're not making a difference in the community. And that's what Drummers Alex all about.
Yeah, the more that they can share with everyone and all of us in general, and we turn around and share that too, that's really what it's always been about. So we're going to just try and keep that going.
In the words of Dave Chappelle, yeah. Sorry.
Well said there, Richard. Well said.
Right.
I like it. I like
all right,
it.
Guys,
all right. I think on that note, it's about that time.
Let's ride out. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in, Kevin. Thank you, Jovan. Thank you.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Thank you, Richard.
No problem. Good night.